So in the spirit of true minimalism, this is my bug out bag, and I'm going to head out into the great white north and play around with some stuff. So come along and reflect on the meaning of life for a little bit as well, and here we go. So I bugged out, not real scenario on this one. The only thing is that Kitty's tidying and painting and driving me crazy, so I decided to bail on her. So in theory I've just carried this in my hand, though I did carry it in the pack because I'm setting up all of this stuff. Magic of cinema. So I found about 2 meters of rope, but I have it. Keep an eye out for found items. And I found a can on the way in. I figured I would. People junk stuff all the time. So have a good look out. If you find any transparent plastic water bottles, you want to grab them. So this is the bottle I'm going to use. I was going to use this. I'm not going to. I'm going to use the wet rope I found. This already has an eyelet in it, which is great. So all I do is I just put this through here and put this through there and then chuck it in the river. Hey puppy. So yeah, so this is what you do, you just chuck it in. So let's chuck it in, shall we? So without faking or tricking, you have this. One of the things I suggest before you do this is to actually have a stick with a little thong on it, so you can actually push the rope further out in case it does get caught on any branches. And let's try the Lifestraw. I think Kitty bought me this in a set of 4 from Groupon for 29 Canadian a long time ago. The instructions would wear out, so make sure you know what you're doing. And no idea when it expires. So you guys can tell me if I'm doing this right or wrong. Pretty decent plastic. I think this was bought about 15 to 16 years ago. Has a little lanyard thing on it, I don't know if you still do. And there's my top. And there's my bottom. And this does have instructions on it. I don't know if they still do. Pretty straightforward, eh? No tricks with this one. Okay, that's where I just got water just a little bit. See how much effort it takes to drink a litre of water. Okay, this time I'm putting my finger over the top because I lost the column of water dripped down to the water level and I had to suck to get it back up. Let's see if this helps. Oops. The other thing you do is just push it down and hold it. Well, it works with pretty clear water and it was easy to catch and I don't have to drink right by the stream. It is a bit more effort. When I get home, I'm going to put this open like this, hanging in a dry environment for as long as possible. If you get water left in the filter and it freezes, they will break. So that's the main reason I don't want to be Lifestraw dependent bugging out in the Canadian winter. It's going to get cold. So that's why I'd much prefer to use tablets year round, because I don't like switching stuff in and out of gear unless I need to. I'd much prefer to use tablets than something like this, purely because of the cold. Give this back to the fishes. And if you use an eyelet, which I didn't put in it, but somebody did it for me. It basically means that you have the capacity to keep using the piece of string or rope without too much difficulty. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to check my comms, check my emergency comms. Pretty good find, eh? Quite happy with this. Saves my pink paracord from being used. So I am going to do a full Rhino Ready bug out at some point. It won't be for a couple of weeks because I want to actually put the equipment back together the way I got it, and a lot of the stuff's been removed. This is the original comms packet. Took it out the one in the car. Keep the instructions, if nothing else. Firestyle. And it has a USB connection port, so I can plug this into my BioLite, which is why I really like this. Getting a bit stormy, I hope you can hear me. Alright, so I like the solar panel, take forever I'm sure. It also has, I believe, it has connection for USB. I thought this actually had batteries somewhere or other. I'll have to read the instructions. Does it work? Alright, so off. And sound of silence. Okay, turn it off again. I'm going to use the hand crank for a minute. I will speed this up. When you finish with these, do it carefully and stow it carefully. These will break. Okay, so it's showing me that the battery's almost dead. I do have light.
Hard look at turnover of staff in the last 10 years for most major FTSE 100 organizations is less than 2 years.
Not bad.
And so you cannot invest in an innovation.
So I have FM and AM.
Productive. That's
Thursday night, clear. Low +3. Sunny, high 15. For Friday night, cloudy period. Low +4.
Not bad. Well worth carrying something like this. You don't have to get this particular make. I got this from Rhino Ready. I'm quite impressed with it. It's been years, like maybe 2-3 years since this has ever been opened. So you can spend a fortune on kit. I got a bunch of these from Costco, and they're not going to last you the entire Civil War or SHTF. But protecting your hands is always a good idea, especially if you're handling wood. So now I'm going to find somewhere to set up the tent. One thing that I would actually carry in a real SHTF situation is tiny little walkie-talkies. So I've got about 1/4 mile audio with Kitty if we separate, which I don't plan to. I'd also be carrying a Baofeng, and she would also have one, and also I'd have to spend some time teaching her how to use it, and myself. And I would be free to use that in a real grid down, though I'd be very careful about which frequencies I was using and what I was saying, and I would rotate the frequencies we'd be using. Remember, they can triangulate, so you don't want to be chatting on it like it's a cell phone. Quick, boom, and that's it. And only used for emergencies. So I've secured the rope using the catch system to there, and now I'm going to secure it to another tree. The principle behind this is I'm not going to be comfortable, I'm not going to be stripping off. It's very wet on the ground. I would travel to get some of this for my garbage bags. This is going to be mostly air inside the garbage bags, and it will help keep me warm at night. I can waste energy chopping down trees. I've got a lot of deadfall here. I just want somewhere to keep the wind and the rain off me. 3 garbage bags. And I would normally have compactor trash bags. I would normally have a decent disposable plastic tent. And in conditions like this, I would have my Hubba Bubba tent with me. And if the conditions were colder, I would have my new TG tent if I can figure out how to use it. Gloves are great. Not handling this stuff. So frankly, I would probably just sleep in 3 of these and shove any dry leaf or clothing I had on in between the layers. Probably what I would do. But everybody's always trying to build stuff, right? It's a thing human beings do. So trash bags usually have one open end and one non-open. So what I would do is I would open it, and this is how you do this. Get it open like that. So I now have the tent. So then you have choices. You could do this type of thing. You do this type of thing where you use a stapler or duct tape or whatever to have this here, and then you can have it like that. Oh yeah, I have a knife and a ferrocerium rod on here. I do have Bics. We'll be using them in a bit. This is a knife. This is the dangerous end. Keep it pointed away from me. So what I want to do is make a very, very, very low quality tarp. So I find the far end. And I make an incision, otherwise known as a hole. And then I literally should be able to, if this is working right, do this kind of thing. Now, these are really cheap compactor bags. So I'm not happy with that. So I'm going to do this stream first, the bottom. Actually, I just had a better idea. So I'm going to open them and I'm going to make little holes in both sides. Then I'm going to string it through the rope, like so. And that makes the tent. Very good. I'm not going to make it because, honestly, I would freeze my ass off trying to sleep in a tent constructed of garbage bags. If you've only got garbage bags, wear them. Right? Cheap ones don't go very fast, then you put one on top here. Better than nothing. It's going to be really cold trying to sleep on this. I'm probably going to really wish that I bought a bivvy bag. Anyway, that's it for the tent demonstration. Didn't build it, decided not to because it's cold and time's pressing. Let's build a rocket stove. So camp discipline is still important. Before I'm going to build a rocket stove, I'm going to take everything down that I've used and tidy it up, bag it, ready in case I have to move. There is no waste in SHTF. You keep everything that you need and find. And one of the major things I would have done with this type of a shelter is I would have dropped it down about 2 feet. I would have had about a 2 foot, well, a 2 foot clearance. And that's what I do. Somehow or other I'm going to have to lace the garbage bags together so it's waterproof on the top from moderate rain, and then anchor the sides of it. I have a lot of deadfall, so I could construct it. I think I can make a reasonably waterproof shelter for myself in probably about 20 to 30 minutes. I think I could find materials around here that would help me make it very poor insulation for a nighttime sleep quite quickly. The main critical thing is going to be off the ground. We've only 3 garbage bags, not enough. I want 3 to 4 garbage bags stuffed full of dry leaves and twigs on the ground to lie on before I even think about constructing something over my head. And looking at the garbage bags and what I was going to do with them, probably need 10. Just bring a tarp, right? But you might not have one. That's what everybody always says. You might not have one. And I found one. People love building these. Absolutely useless. Rubbish. Get all the dry leaves, make a mound of dry leaves, fill it full of garbage bags, use some sticks that are lying around to weight them down. That's your shelter for an emergency. Trying to build a semi-permanent structure like this is absolutely insane. Too many calories burned for what? Like, what are they covering this in? I don't know, maybe they're going to hack trees down to build it. I don't know. Taking a lot of energy to build a structure like this, utterly pointless. Unless you intend to stay in the area a few weeks. This has been a Disturbed by Moving Terrier production 2021.